Hi guys, I have been talking for a while now about making a video basically about how our family stays on a tight budget on our groceries and how kind of what I make through the week and keeping stuff simple. So I just kind of wanted to show you, I just went grocery shopping and I have my meals planned out for the week. Um, the way I do it might not work for everybody. I tend to make similar meals and I don't like to spend a ton of time cooking. So occasionally I'll make something that is maybe a little more involved, but for the most part, I like to keep stuff simple. It helps it stay cost effective that way. So I just went grocery shopping and here are my groceries for the week. So I have obviously fruit, bananas, I have avocados, zucchini, apples, carrots. Behind there are pears. There's some cilantro there. There's a bag of frozen mangoes right there. Basil for pesto, applesauce, grapes, cherry tomatoes. So that's kind of my veggies. And then over here we have coconut milk for coconut curry, which I'll talk about. Lime juice, that's lemongrass. Grapeseed oil, olives, salsa. One of our few indulgences is Froofy creamer. This is just a soup for kids' lunch. Yogurt, almond milk. And then over here we have, we do not do a ton of meat. So there's lunch meat for the kids, a tiny little thing of cheese, tortillas, corn tortillas. And then over here are kind of more snack things. So here, I'll give you more of it up front. So we eat a lot of what we call God food. So whatever is in nature, we don't eat a lot of processed. A little bit, obviously, but not a ton. Tortillas. I try and get certain things I'll try and get more healthy, and then other things I don't really care about. Whole wheat pasta. This is this kids snack stuff. So we have non-salted peanuts. These are pretzels that have a little peanut butter in them. Animal crackers, not super healthy, but they're really cheap. This is powdered hummus mix. We have some broth, organic oatmeal, and bread, and then a couple other things. And my total came to $107 for all that. Part of the reason that was a little less expensive was because I have some food left in the pantry, and that's one thing I want to talk about. So the first thing, typically we will have food left in the fridge and left in the pantry, and we'll go get more food. And the thing that I try and do is look at what I have left, and before I work with the new food, we eat the old food. So we have a bunch of veggies left in the fridge. Tonight I'm gonna cook those up and we're gonna have stir fry because we need to eat those. So stuff like that. I mean, if you have malto meal that you bought a year ago, but you keep feeding your kids the same box of cereal you buy every week, well, maybe take a week or two off of cereal and eat the malto meal. They will eat what you have. So eat what you already have, and that's a way to keep your budget down. I don't buy for a month, I buy for the week. So if you come to our house on Wednesday, we have a ton of food. If you come to our house on Tuesday, we're kind of bare bones, but that keeps the budget down. And I get stuff like, I got Fresca. Occasionally, maybe once every other month, I'll get soda. We get creamer every week. Well, not every week. Probably, I don't know, once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks, because that's something we really like. When I get lunch meat, I like to get something that's no preservatives, no added hormones. Same thing with cheese. One thing we don't do a lot of is cheese and meat. Those are things that are expenses. And when you look at other cultures, they use meat to flavor their food. So like what we eat for a portion of meat over in China would feed a family of 5. So there are ways that you can cut back on your meat. You'll lose weight, you'll feel better, you'll digest better. Cut back on the cheese and the dairy that you consume. That's an expense. And again, that's meant to be something that flavors your food and isn't the main part of your food. So that's definitely one way we keep costs down, is being pretty choosy with what we buy and then using what we have before we go out and buy more stuff. Like, we needed oatmeal today because we've been out of it, but we've been using the malto meal we have. So we've been fine. So yeah, using what you have. Okay, so my list for this week for meals, we're doing stir fry tonight, and then we're gonna do pasta. Pasta, again, is a really easy one. This was 90 cents. And then I already have the jar of pasta. It's the Newman's Own pasta sauce that I like, and it was $2.30. So I'll do this with some pasta sauce, and then I'll fry up that zucchini over there. I'll fry it up in maybe a little bit of olive oil, or I use grapeseed oil, so a little bit of grapeseed oil, which grapeseed oil is cheaper than olive oil, at least where I buy it. This thing was $5.80, which for oil, you know, that's a stinking good price. And the nice thing about grapeseed oil is it has a higher burn temperature than olive oil. So I don't know if you've noticed, when you use certain oils, they burn and they're really annoying because now your pan is smoking, like especially for popcorn, it's hard to use olive oil. So I'll use grapeseed oil because I could heat it up higher and it won't burn. And that's a really good oil for you. And then, you know, like this is a honey Greek yogurt. We don't need to buy this. It's $2.80 or $3.12, but I have luxuries that I like to get, and I don't get this every time. My kids don't eat, you know, potato chips, stuff like that. I get cheap bulk. The bulk section is great. The off-brand, and the way I do snacks with my kids is they get fruit and veggies and a little bit of a snack, like a carb. So they'll have like an apple and carrots and a few of these peanut-filled pretzels. They don't need a whole bowl of these. And then you're saving yourself money because apples you can get for 98 cents a pound. I do not buy everything organic. There are certain things that it's nice to have organic. Apples, you can peel them and wash them. Bananas have a thick skin, you can peel them. So that's really gonna be up to you. I think, yes, organic is great, but I'm not willing to pay, $100 extra a month to make sure everything's organic. So you do what works for your family, but it's really a balance. We eat whole foods and try and get them as organic as we can. So stir fry was one, pasta, and then beans and rice is a phenomenal dinner, super cheap. So I take my bag of beans, which I already had, so I didn't have to buy them at the store. So I'm gonna take these pinto beans, and you stick them in your crock pot with a little bit of water and salsa, and you just let them cook all day. And it has directions on the back for how to cook them. This was probably like $1. And then I cook the rice separately, and I already have that. So you cook your beans and rice up, and then you can slice up avocado, which I have, cilantro, could slice up some tomatoes and put those on the top, and it's an awesome meal, and it's stinking cheap, like $1 a serving. So I like that. That's a great meal for us. It fills the kids up. Your kids will get used to whatever you feed them. So don't let fear of, if your kids are not going to eat it, hold you back from saving your family money. Your kids will get over it. They're adaptable, and when they start feeling good, and if they get hungry, they're going to eat something. So they might hold out for a little bit, but I mean, when we transitioned, my kids would eat food, and if they didn't eat dinner, then they didn't get a snack. And, you know, they have to wait till the next day, and then they'd usually take that dinner they didn't eat for lunch. So eventually they eat their food. And I think some of us, I know I struggle with this, we tend to enable our kids. We are very blessed in this country to have lots of food. And if you are wanting to save money so you can go travel the world, don't let your kids prevent you from doing that. It'll be so good for them. It's good for my kids. Burgers is another one. I didn't have to buy stuff for it because we kind of had stuff left over. So I'm going to make bean burgers because we have beans and rice in the fridge left over. So I'm going to use that to make burgers. And if you're like, I have stuff in the fridge, but I have no idea what to do with it, Google it. Like, what can I make with leftover lasagna or leftover pasta? I mean, literally, if you type that into Google, tons of recipes will pop up. So just get creative and don't be too hard on yourself. It really is I mean, you have to transition. It took us a while to kind of transition. I still feel like there's stuff that I could do better at, but yeah, don't be too hard on yourself. And then I'm doing tacos one night. So I got tortillas, and I'll use some of the leftover beans and rice in our tacos and then cook up some sort of meat. We have meat in the freezer again, but you could buy some meat for that, and you don't need as much as you think you do. So look at the meat and look at what you think that you need and then cut it in half. You can literally do with half of the meat that you think you need, especially with beans and rice. I mean, you could just do beans and rice and avocado and tomato and cilantro again and just stick it in a tortilla, and that would be amazing. And then we're doing coconut curry. I think that's the last one. Yeah, coconut curry soup. So you take your coconut milk, and I just get regular, I don't get light because I want to enjoy it. You can get light. You take your coconut milk, you mix it with broth. You can do vegetable broth, chicken broth. And then, I mean, there's recipes for coconut curry. I have curry in my fridge, and I put some lemongrass in it and baby corn and tomatoes and basil, and I'll use a little of the extra rice that I cooked up for the beans and rice, and that will be our meal. So that's kind of how I plan. One other thing I wanted to say was those of you that have kids, a lot of people waste money in their kids' lunch. My kids for lunch have a sandwich, typically. Sometimes they'll do soup, and if you're like, how in the world can I do soup for my kid at school? I'm going to show you. My friend Jen showed me these. So this is like a thermos for your kid. So you could do ramen, and what I'll do is I buy the ramen noodles, and I don't get the package of ramen because it's super not healthy at all. Too much salt. But you can buy basically Oriental noodles and cook those up in broth, and then add. I usually add peas to the kids, and then stick it in here, and they can have ramen at lunch, or your leftover soup that you made last night. So it's just a little container, and you can put hot water in it, and then you dump it out and put their soup in it. And their soup, my kids' soup has stayed hot till like 4 in the afternoon. But you can find these at thrift stores. Don't feel like you have to go out and buy one. This one's just the Thermos brand. And then, it comes with their bowl. So you have their bowl, and they can pour the soup in. My 4-year-old can do this, so your kids would love it. This one's his. Doesn't look super clean, but that's his. He takes it to his Montessori preschool. So you don't need to spend $20 on your kids' lunch. And some of the lunches that I will see have like puddings and cookies and even the Lunchables. And I mean, add it up. Add up what you're spending on that. Chances are you're going over your budget there. So our kids take a sandwich, they take a piece of fruit, and then they have some sort of a little snack. Whether it's like trail mix, just the cheap trail mix. I get the cheapest bulk trail mix. I think it's like $1.80 a pound. So they'll take a little bit of trail mix, but that's all they have. And then they have water, and they do great. They're not hungry. They don't need, and honestly, a lot of you are probably sending your kids to school with lunches that they're probably not eating all of. And I remember when I was in school, the kids whose parents packed in this huge lunch, I was given half of it. So you're probably paying for some other kid to eat. So that's a good place to look too. So I hope that was helpful. I use Winco when I go grocery shopping. Find the cheapest place in your area, and any place that has bulk section is awesome. That's a great place for pasta, oatmeal, sugar and flour. Typically you can get stuff like organic sugar for a lot cheaper in the bulk section. And like I get organic oatmeal just because oats, I like having oats organic, and it's way cheaper buying it in the bulk section for me. And everybody's gonna be different on what the things are that they feel like are important to spend a little extra money on. So I'm gonna put my groceries away. Hopefully that was helpful to you guys. And yeah, I'll talk to you later.